athletes to make sure they understand the reason why you are working a specific way as a coach, the reason why the training plan is based a typical way. I think it's really important to develop a good teamwork and a good relationship coach and athletes if you want to produce athletes successful at this senior level. And Mark, again this morning, took the example of when the athlete have success, the first thing we also often heard is, he's really talented, he did a good job, he ran well. And when the athlete have a bad race, oh, it's probably his coach did a mistake. And in reality, it's always a balance of both. Coach and athlete can be involved in the results, and always keep in mind that we're there for the athletes, and the main reason of the success of the athlete is the athlete himself, and as a coach we're there to help them and work as a team with the athletes. The ownership of the success, so it's really important that the athletes understand that he's involved in this, on his success, and is also involved when we have some challenge and when he had some some challenge and some downs. So again, it's something we have to educate the athletes. Like I said, education starts with youth and junior, and we don't want to overcomplicate it. Find the right balance, and again, it have to be individualized based on what's the athlete background. And you're not going to do the same thing about involving the athlete in the process. With two athletes of the same age, if one is new in track and field, first year, and another one is training since 4 or 5 years, their background is different, so the way you're coaching them, the way you are working with them and involving them in the process will be different. I think it's also really important to help the athlete to develop their own identity as an athlete, and we have to find a balance between, it's not your own identity as a coach that you just replicate to the athletes. You help the athlete to develop his own identity, and you provide him some tool to make sure he's developing himself as an athlete, as a human. And keep in mind the slide that I show, not seeing the athlete only as a 800 specialist or cross-country specialist, but the whole background behind the athletes, and the whole background behind his identity will have an impact about how he is as a human, how he is as an athlete, how he is as a runner, all that stuff. I will share a bit about my training philosophy and how I work with the athlete, helping them to being successful at the next level. For example, when I work with some rookie at the university level with some decent talent, how we can plan to work together to give them all the tools to be successful as a senior athlete in a few years. And I think few years is an important part of the sentence, because you don't want to rush anything to go too quick, too fast, and too quick. You don't want the big gap between training like a junior then training like a senior. That's why I often talk about under 23 category. It's really important to help them to have the better skill set as possible, and especially early in their career as a junior or even as an under 23 athletes, don't try to fix, okay, he will be an 800-meter runner or he will be a cross-country runner. He's still at a point of his career that it's good to develop different skill set and have a good range. That's something I really believe in, and have a good versatility. So being able to be successful over a different distance, and don't see the athlete as a specialist of only one event, and make sure they don't see the athlete don't see himself as a specialist of only one event. Sometimes when I work with younger athletes, first season we're working together, when we have some meeting, they will define their self. Okay, I'm a 1500-meter runner, or I'm a cross-country runner, and I try to change that mentality and just keep the option open. You're still young in the sports. You never know what will be your best event. Maybe in a few years we'll know, but just keep the option open. Okay, like I said, the range and identity is really something I believe in, and I think we need to avoid to oppose those kind of concepts. Do you prefer to do some specific middle distance session, or do you prefer to do base work? We should not have to oppose those philosophies, because the athlete needs both to be successful. And when I talk about education, that's something really important. And that's also something that I notice when some athletes are new in my program as a junior or as under 23 athletes. They often come with some kind of session or some kinds of training philosophy that they enjoy. Most of the time it's based on what they have been exposed on the previous stage of their career. And that's why I said, as a coach, of course we will have an impact about the identity and the philosophy